What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Powerful Fitness Podcast, episode number 9. And we got the best guest so far on, my older brother, Keyth Dawson.
Let's go.
Look at, we got 2 Dawsons in the building now.
Oh, yeah. Little cuz.
Yeah, little cuz on the keyboards and big cuz on the microphone. All right.
It's a family reunion.
Right. So let's go ahead and first things first, get the fight news out of the way so let our fans know. Let's pull up Keyth's fight, show them that. So Keyth's fighting Friday, October the 7th in, is that Kansas City?
Yeah, Kansas City, Cable Dama Arena, FAC, Fighting Alliance Championship, live on UFC Fight Pass. I think I'll either probably be first or second on the main card. Game opponent, he's 2-0 undefeated, Zach Scroggin. He's a pretty solid fighter. But
where's he train out of?
He trains out of Glory. I'm not sure which one. I'm sure he probably mixes it in with all of them, but I want to say probably Overland Park.
Okay.
He trains up, so he's got a good camp, and so I'm looking for a good fight. I'm training hard, probably in the best shape of my life right now. So I'll be ready to bang it out 3 rounds, whatever I need to do. But I don't see this fight going past the first round.
Why do you think that?
I think my mindset's changed, and I think I've got my confidence back. I had to stop worrying about what people thought of me, and just when I stopped worried about what people
The
thought
outcome.
of me. Yeah, the outcome. I'm just training hard, and then I'm just letting go. I'm big into meditation. So before the fight, I just let it all go, and whatever happens, but I know how I train, so I know it's a high probability that I can win most fights as long as my head's right.
Yeah, your last fight, you definitely let it all go. That was, full domination.
That's probably the best I ever felt. Even after the first round, when I was sitting in my corner, I was still just so relaxed, and I felt like I was supposed to be there.
Right. Okay, before we move on, let's go ahead and pull up my fight too, just show them what I got, because my fight's actually next Saturday. When this podcast will probably come out in a couple of days, so it should be technically this week because I got to get the thumbnail made. But yeah, I'm fighting September the 24th. It's gonna be in Moberly, Missouri. This is for a title. It is an MMA fight. So I mean, look at dude, he gonna get knocked out. I mean, that's a little guy right there. I mean, what can I say? Little cuz going to have to get knocked out. He's going up against the champ. So, say a prayer for dude. Pray for the weak. That's all I can say about that. Isaac Dancy. I'm going to make him dance all right. So.
You a fool.
All right, so, man. Yeah, how's your camp been going?
Dude, it's been going good. So... As you know, I train my jiu-jitsu under John Dudley at Carpe Momentum. John's an excellent teacher. He's able to break everything down into very small details. And then, so you said I did great in my last fight. But my fight before that, it was on FAC, which was where my next fight is. I fought another Glory guy, and Tommy Bill, excellent fighter. But that's after that fight's kind of when my mind switched. Like my head was not right that fight.
Right, a lot of things kind of went wrong too in that fight.
But I mean, and I'm not. Tommy beat me fair and square. Like, I'm not down in his performance or anything. He's a great fighter. I actually think, it's kind of weird, if you look at the rankings, this is just my opinion. If you look at the welterweight rankings for Kansas and Missouri, Zach Scroggin is ranked higher than Tommy Bill. But dude, I think Tommy's a better fighter than Zach. Um, which the first when I fought Tommy, I was offered to fight Zach, and from my understanding, they turned the fight down and then offered me Tommy. So I just went ahead and fought Tommy because I'm down to fight anybody. Uh, so
And now,
I got my
and
experience
now he
from that.
accepted the fight with you. So,
Yeah, so I'm
so,
sure they think
so,
they've seen that. I'm sure they watched me fight Tommy, and they think, oh, he's not that good. We can beat him because
well,
they seen how I fought them, but I was not on top of my game. Um, it is what it is. Like sometimes you're not, sometimes you are. But that's what we're trying to do as fighters. We're trying to figure out how to recreate that flow state every time.
right,
And sometimes it don't come for some reason. But that's why you got to keep getting in there and figuring out how to enter that flow state.
right, how to perform your best. So I mean, what I would think is either he wasn't ready to fight at that time, or he's looking for, or he didn't want to take the fight because he didn't know if he could win. And since you lost to one of his teammates, now he feels like, okay, I guess I can beat that guy,
Right.
which is kind of like, I mean, if that was the case, that goes to show where his mindset is in his own, in his own martial arts journey and his own performances. Because, like, the way we look at fights, like my MMA coach, if it's someone he knows I can beat, he don't want me to fight him. Like,
Yeah, that's
it's got to
exactly
be a
how I am.
challenge.
I don't like those fights. For one, I feel like you really have nothing to gain when you're fighting someone that you should, or will beat.
Unless I mean, if you're a pro, you're gonna get paid. That's
Yeah,
different. I'm an amateur still, so it's like, what's the point?
yeah, I get it. I just like it just doesn't motivate me. Like
Right, right,
I'm probably not gonna train as hard for those fights.
right,
Like, but I know if I'm fighting someone, out of glory or something like that, I have to like have a good camp. I have to train hard. I have to come in shape. Um, or I'm setting myself up for failure. So it's you just have to do it.
right. Well, I'm excited for it.
I'm
It's
excited too, and like I said, no disrespect. Like Zach's a good fighter. Uh, he has he has a good guillotine, which I do as well. So I'm not too worried about his guillotine because, as you know, like in jujitsu, if you use something a lot, then you probably know how to defend it well too. So I think that might kind of even out. Like we both have good guillotines, so I don't think either one of us get one of those. I honestly kind of think it's this fight might stay standing, and I want to show my striking skills. Over the past few years, I fell in love with jiu-jitsu, and um, I use it a lot in my fights because I know I can and I know it works. And I know fighting most people don't have an extensive jiu-jitsu game, so it's the easiest route to the win from when I'm fighting most people. But when you're fighting people that do have jiu-jitsu, it kind of starts to even out a little bit. And back early in my career, I used to knock people out, and then I kind of fell in love with jiu-jitsu, and I stopped, going trying to keep it standing, for the past few years. But
right,
I just when I sit and think about it, I think that's actually more of the fighter I am to want to stand and let my hands go and go for these knockouts because as a fan, that's what I want to see. Like
right,
if I'm watching a fight, I want to see a knockout. So and I'm not like not that I'm not just gonna go out there and just try to go for knockouts. That's not what I'm saying. But if I uh, fall back on my jujitsu every fight, those knockouts are probably never gonna come because I'm not keeping it standing. I'm just falling back on my jujitsu.
Right.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to showing my stand up game. I actually switched camps before my last fight. Um, Training with D Ray Ivy at War Eagle MMA. Um, Great instruction there as well. I feel like my striking has improved tremendously. Um, and I've always had heavy hands, so if I feel if I just let go and let my hands go and just flow, then good things are gonna come.
Yeah. One thing I've been telling myself is now that I'm transitioning back into MMA, I need to focus on just going in there with the mentality beat them, because I know I can strike, I know I can grapple, so I don't need to go in there thinking, oh, I should do this to him or do that to him. Just go in there and be open to do whatever it takes to win. You know, if we're striking, if I step in, land a 1-2, and change levels because he throws a hook and we're right there connected, and I can get a body lock, take him down, why not? You know, it's like I shouldn't go in there with the mindset to keep it standing because I know I can beat him on the feet. You know, just go in there and mix it up because I
Yeah.
mean,
So I guess more. I guess I said
it
I'm
puts
more of a
more in front of you.
I'm more of a standing fighter. I want to be more of a standing fighter. But really, I just want to do more damage. That's what it comes down to. Until like my last fight, even on the ground, it's like I was hunting so hard for submissions that I would forget to strike,
Right, right.
and it was right there. Like that's what we're in there to do. Like yeah, if I can get it,
Inflict
if
pain.
if a submission comes, yeah, take it. But we're trying to break our opponents mentally, and fighting off a submission, yeah, I might, you might have a little bit of a mental battle fighting off submissions and grappling. You might get, gassed a little, but when you drop some blows to their dome, that's gonna break them a lot faster.
And I think that one of the reasons why sometimes we might do that in a fight and overlook that is because maybe in our camps we're doing a little bit too much striking certain days, jujitsu certain days, and not enough like really doing like MMA flowing.
Yeah, and it's hard to like you don't want to beat the shit out of your partners, ground and pounding them in training.
Yeah, you
either.
definitely have
Like,
to just
when you take people down in training, it's you're gonna show the strikes, but you're not gonna let it all go and use all your
right.
energy. So it's you find out where you can strike in training, but it's hard to maybe on the bag you can let go a little bit, ground and pound on the bag, but it's hard to let go in the actual live training.
Right. I mean, you really have to have some nice thick training MMA gloves, have some nice thick elbow pads, knee pads, and shin guards, possibly helmets. And when you get to the ground, really make sure you control your strikes because it don't take much to leave with a headache. And then when it comes to elbows, like something that's like really hard to throw an elbow and not end up hurting your teammate because I mean it's the freaking elbow, and even if they like turn into it, it's just I think people don't realize how hard it is to do MMA training and not get injured.
Yeah, especially I mean, and it comes down to your training partners as well. Like, you know, back back in the day, like we used to just go in there and spar hard and not do
Stupid hard.
not do too much drilling. We'd drill a few things and then we'd spar.
Like if you're worried about getting knocked out while you're sparring or getting rocked, you know that
You're doing too much.
you're doing too much. In my eyes, see, really sparring is not what people think it is. People think that sparring is. This is why they say hard sparring, because sparring is not the same as hard sparring. Hard sparring is more like you're like really fighting. Like you're agreeing, like, hey, we're gonna go hard. Like this is gonna be more like a fight. But actual sparring is just just touching. It's simulation. It's just like in jiu-jitsu. You're not gonna actually try to break my arm if you get an arm bar, you know, because we're sparring.
Right.
So it goes, you know, it's the same on the feet. You shouldn't be cracking your teammates. Right. You know, that's like, you know, every once in a while you have, if you're a pro, most pros would be paying people to come in and spar with them because, like, right. Hey, I'm paying you to come in and spar. Just know I'm trying to knock you out.
I feel like you do need those rounds, especially like not out of camp though. Like out of camp, I'm not trying to do no hard sparring. I'm just drilling, you know, and you know, doing a lot of like Dutch drilling, mitts, stuff like that. And then when you go into camp, you can pick it up a little bit because you got to kind of get that speed and the timing of that speed down.
Right.
Like
you can't just be.
If you're just flowing, touching all the time, then when you see the real speed, you're not gonna be ready for it. Your timing's gonna be a little bit off.
See, but most beginners, they can't go fast and pull their shots. You have to be able to go fast. See, because the way we spar is, we'll go light to the face and then crack hard to the body. Like, yeah, I'll go light to the face and then, dude, I'll try to knock you down with a body shot. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what I do.
You got to be going hard to the body.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not doing that, then it's really not realistic, and you
have to condition
you don't know if you're actually keeping your core, keeping your core tight. You know, a lot of people, they don't realize they're not keeping their core tight when they should be, and you know, you're gonna get dropped easily with a body shot if your core is not tight. Like too easily.
Ain't nothing worse than that, especially for your mental. Like, you go home after sparring and like, basically you gotta tell yourself like, oh, I got dropped by a body shot, basically because my conditioning isn't good enough. You
right.
know? Like, so like, you basically, you know, you haven't been training enough. They could put a perfect shot on you, of course.
Like, you wasn't ready for it.
Right.
But you have to be ready for those.
Comes down, like,
every time
timing.
Every time you strike, you have to be ready for a body shot. Especially if you're going high, like every time you strike.
And sometimes it takes until you get that first body shot, and you're like, oh yeah, I gotta cover that up too. Like, right. You know, your elbows start to come up a little bit just on accident.
Right.
And then, you know, they get a nice little liver shot on you, then your elbows come back down a little bit more. So
which I mean, the way I see it is, if I've been doing enough core work, you know, in my training camp, then I should be able to fight with my elbows up and not worry about taking body shots. Like, right. I should be able to take those.
And plus, you have to be, you know, a lot of I think what camp is also is like training yourself, giving yourself those mental reps when you're sparring and you get cracked to the body or something. You know, learning how to have that poker face and like
composure
keep moving forward like it didn't hurt you, even if it did. Like, you know, that's things you really have to use in fights. Like, that back and forth mental battle in fights is a lot bigger than a lot of people think. Like, it's, you know, like they say, you can feel when you can feel when your opponent starts to break sometimes. Like,
oh yeah,
you can feel the momentum shift. You can feel a lot of that mental energy basically. So it's like, you know, a lot of times in training, I'm thinking about like getting ready for that. Like, I'm trying to train myself mentally. I know I'm gonna train hard and be in shape, but you know, you gotta, those little moments in fights when you're in a bad spot and you need to be able to fight through that mentally. I know I've trained and I have the technique to be able to execute, but sometimes your mind's not ready to be able to execute.
Right. Yeah, and one thing I've noticed is I really get to work on that when I roll with the bigger guys like you, Preston, because
just fighting from the bottom,
dude. Yeah, it's
even
like
if you got an underhook, they're still smashing. You're just trying to work. You just gotta work. You just gotta work.
Exactly.
And yeah,
and even if it don't feel like it don't feel like nothing I'm doing right now is gonna help me from getting smashed mentally. I'm staying ready. I'm staying active. Okay, what can I do if he shifts his knee over here? You know, where can I move? Where can I apply pressure? Like, what parts of my body can I move? And just truly never feeling defeated. Like, being fully mounted. You know, having you on my back flattened out. Like, I can still be there and not feel mentally defeated. Like, okay, yeah, he's flattening me out. Yeah, he's crushing my lungs, but I'm ready for the next position, or I'm gonna make sure he doesn't get this choke, or just mentally staying in the fight and never feeling like, oh, I'm dead, I'm done.
Right, and that's a big way. That's you can win fights like that. And that's a big way that I think I can win this fight I got coming up. Watching my opponent's fights, he's very good, especially in the first round. But I think he cuts a lot of weight. He's a big 170. I think he cuts a lot of weight, and I've seen.
Oh, this is the 170 fight.
Yeah, I've seen multiple fights where he starts to gas. Now he still fights. He don't quit, but maybe if you take him down midway through the second round, he's gonna try to use his guard and not stand back up because he's tired, or he fought my buddy Tristan, and that's his fights. That's one fight right there. Like I watched, he was dominated that fight.
Tristan Overton.
Tristan Overton, yeah. Tristan dominated him all 3 rounds, like no doubt about it. And a big thing I could see about his just his mental, just the type of person he is. He was down, Tristan beat him basically, and then there's that moment between the time that the fight's over and then the time that the scorecards are read. Okay, and between that time, he's looking down, he's shaking his head no, like he knows he lost. You can tell he feels down on himself. And then they announced the scorecards in his favor, and his mind completely changed.
What?
Yeah, now he didn't
Damn, they robbed Tristan.
Oh yeah, he was.
Was it an amateur fight?
It was back in amateurs. But yeah, he was super robbed. And I think that, it was in Kansas City, which is where I'm fighting him at. He's from that area, so I know. That's why I said I know I'll be able, I'm ready to go all 3 rounds, but I can't do that because
never leave it to
he's
the judges.
He's well known in that area, and I know 2 fights up for sure that I've watched that I thought he's lost, and the other guys were robbed.
It's funny you say that because I was just watching some of my next opponent's last fights, and I watched 2 fights where he pretty much got taken down and controlled for 3 rounds, and they gave the fight to him, even though I would have actually scored it for the other guys. So, but I always go in there with that mindset, like, knock this dude out, finish this guy.
You have to, and even if I could have a great fight, kind of like our last fights. You had a great fight. Or I guess it wasn't your last fight, but your fight before when we fought together.
My last MMA fight.
Yeah, when we fought the same night. You won your fight, and it was a great fight. Like, it was a guy out of glory, and, he took you down immediately in the first round, but you were able to get back up, and you did basically all the damage in that fight. After he took you down in the beginning, the tides turned, and then even in the 3rd round when it went to the ground, you were the one that stayed on top and, had the better jiu-jitsu, had the better scrambles.
Right.
And then after the fight, you didn't get to finish, so even though you had a great fight, you're still a little bit down on yourself.
Right, because
you want to do what you know you can do.
And I know I could have finished him.
Right.
But I actually I paced myself really good, but in round 3, I should have turned it up more. Like, at the end of the round 3, when I had him on the ground, I had him mounted. Like, I could have done so much more damage. Even when I started going for the rear naked choke, but I let it go. Like, I could have cranked that choke, but I was trying to win clean and not force it. But it taught me a good lesson. And in certain positions, you need to go ham
Right.
Like, don't even like it don't think about the time, this and that. Which if I had known there was only a minute left in that third round, I would have went ham. And because
And
the thing
that's
is, when you mount someone or you got their back and you start throwing bombs, even if they don't hit the head, even if you're blocking them, if they don't defend you out that spot, the referee will jump in. So I could have easily just went in.
yeah, and you still feel it through the gloves. Like it's still
Oh yeah,
it's still rattling your head. It's still shaking your brain, even if
that
you
was
have
a fun fight.
Yeah.
I liked that fight.
But that's how my mindset's changed. Like I said earlier, like I'm trying to do damage now. Like I'm going in there and I'm trying to hurt my opponent. Like that's how you win. Like I have to hurt him before he hurts me.
Right.
Like I'm not trying to beat him on point. I'm not trying to take him down and win the most scrambles and win the most positions. No. When I take him down or whether it's standing, I'm pushing him up against the cage, whatever position we're in, I'm trying to inflict damage. And I know if I strike, I just have to strike. Like, because when I touch people, I hurt them. Like, but there was a point in my career where I just I was just grappling.
Right.
Like I was literally just grappling. I was not striking. But I think it's because like early in my career, I was just a striker and I had no jiu-jitsu.
Which that's cool too.
Which I was a striker.
That's part of that's part of your it's just part of your what's the word I'm looking for?
Arsenal.
No, your progression.
Right.
Like molding yourself. You
Yeah.
you already got the knockout,
Well,
so let's start
yeah.
taking people down and seeing if I can submit.
Like, figuring out how to use it. But then it came to a point for some reason, like it was like, I was not comfortable. Like I wasn't comfortable in their standing. Like I couldn't wait to get the fight to the ground. For some reason, like I wasn't like I just felt like I don't know.
I think it was
uneasy.
Maybe more maybe you feel like you had more grappling cardio than striking cardio.
I do think that's a big part because so until like I told you I switched camps before my last fight, and then up until that point for the 2 years before that I was mainly like I didn't spar for 2 to 3 years basically. Maybe like some super light like sparring for like 1 5-minute round or something, but I hadn't sparred in 2 to 3 years. So I was literally going into my fights and just going in there off Dutch drilling and pad work, like with no real timing down, because I feel like you can get some time, but you kind of know what
when you're drilling. You can work on your timing, but it's not so much of an unexpected timing.
Right, you kind of know what's coming. So, and like I said, 2-3 years I didn't spar, and then I was thinking about it one day, and I thought, what if I took a fight, and I went into this fight, and I only drilled my jiu-jitsu? You think I'm gonna be ready for the grappling exchanges just from drilling jiu-jitsu?
Not.
And I'm probably gonna gas, right? Because I haven't actually used it. I've just been drilling for jiu-jitsu. Like if you don't roll in jiu-jitsu, and you don't roll for a couple weeks and then you roll,
your anticipation for what's next to come isn't going to be the same.
That's not gonna be the same because the timing's off. Because you have to go live a little bit.
Right.
Like you have to go live in jiu-jitsu. So if I have to go live in jiu-jitsu, why did I think that I could just hit mitts and Dutch drill and be ready for a live fight standing? Doesn't make any sense.
It's like it'd be kind of like practicing the tango without a dance partner, just going through the steps. When someone's in front of you, you're probably going to be stepping on their toes more.
You have to actually do it. Yeah, you have to train, you have to drill, and you have to train, but you actually have to go live too, because you have to get that timing, and you got to get the cardio from it. It's different. You could go hard 5-minute rounds on the mitts. Yeah, you're gonna be super tired from that. And then if you go a hard sparring round, you're gonna be super tired from that too. But it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different. Like it's a little bit different cardio. For some reason, you
Well,
you
because it's
strike different when you're sparring than when you're hitting mitts.
well because when you're hitting mitts, most of the time you're not hitting mitts is offense, not defense. So when you're fighting, it's offense and defense. So it's not just the physical fatigue, it's the mental fatigue.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like
Yeah, because you're reacting to their
right.
feints, and you're like, yeah. So,
And you get more
that's after I thought about it like that, I was like, dude, what the hell have I been doing? Like, why? And you can see I don't get warmed up. I don't get start. I can't come out into the fight already like warmed up basically because I haven't been sparring. It like takes me the first round to find my timing
right.
when I was training like that. And I just thought I listened to people on the internet. I heard people like who was a cowboy and guys saying they don't spar anymore.
Right.
And they so I was like, oh yeah, I should probably do that. And then I basically did it for a couple of years, no sparring, just going into my fights. And my last fight, I sparred, and best I've ever felt. Um, I still ended up taking my guy down, but I landed some hard strikes on the feet, some hard leg kicks. I landed, some 2s and 3s, and basically the only reason I shot the takedown is because as I was coming in the strike, the distance just got too close, and then I just reacted and took him down. And then once it was there, I just felt like, I'm already there. So
right. Yeah, so I think sparring is definitely important, especially when you're earlier in your career. Maybe after 10 years of fighting, then I can understand. It's like you don't have to spar so much because you know that once you get into it, you're gonna be comfortable. You're not gonna be tense. Your breathing's gonna be on point. But definitely in the beginning, you got to be sparring and.
Well, I just thought I've been doing this for like 10, 11 years now. like not.
But
I've been training.
But training seriously and fighting.
I've been training seriously and fighting for the past 6, 7, 8
6
years.
or 7.
Yeah, probably 6 or 7 years. I've been actually training, doing jiu-jitsu. Actually, in our beginning of our career, we just jumped in there. We wasn't training.
Right.
We was just holding mitts for each other in the yard and getting in there. But hey, I do regret taking fights without training, but at the same time, I feel like that built up my mental toughness a little bit too.
Move this mic a little closer to you. Yeah, I feel like it definitely. Well, for one, it also helps with your confidence because you have to really think to yourself, well, if I gotten there untrained, what I need to worry about now? Like,
Exactly.
like I'm very prepared for this. So, there's really nothing to worry about. But the thing is, people don't realize that there's you can have a person that's fighting for 10 years and another person that's fighting for 10 years and their mindsets are completely different going into that cage. But so, I just decided I'm going to be the guy with the right mindset. I'm going to be the guy that's confident. Why would I not be confident? Confidence is a choice. It's not about are you good or, are you bad at fighting? Do you have an injury? It's confidence is a choice, So I just chose to be confident, and anytime I feel doubt creeping in, I just realize that it's natural,
Well, and that it comes with that meditating too. Like that's like you said, you'll feel like you're always gonna feel that doubt trying to creep in.
Right.
Always. But when you meditate, it teaches you how to focus on what thought you want to focus on.
Right.
If you're backstage right before your fight and that doubt's coming in, you just shake that shit off and you think about something positive, or you just think about your breath, or just don't let them.
It's
you just
mental exercise.
You just train yourself to not let those negative thoughts come in. I mean,
right.
It takes time. It takes getting that experience and getting in there.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people maybe they mess up because when they're not doing the best thing mentally, because when the doubt creeps in, they try to ignore it. But when you meditate, it's not it's not ignoring it. It's strengthening the mind. You know. So
you're just training yourself how to focus, basically. Like,
right.
So that's how I see it. Like, it's not just about the negative thoughts. It's like you're learning how to focus on what thought you want to when you want to. You know.
I just got one question. If you're so mentally strong, how come you're not come back for an ice bath anytime soon?
Oh yeah,
I've been doing that at my house actually.
Yeah, you know, I put ice on my back sometimes. You know,
Yeah,
a bag of ice.
Yeah, doing those ice baths every night, man. That definitely is my. I don't just do it for the physical recovery. I do it for that mental. When I get in there, I focus on.
Well, I want to get my own too, because part of it is I don't want to come over here, get cold, and then have to like immediately jump out and shiver, get my clothes back on, go jump in the car. I'm still like, if I had it at my house, I feel like I would be able to do it a lot more. Like, part of it's like having to come over here and like, yeah,
it's a hassle.
It's more of a hassle.
It's definitely a hassle.
Especially like, you know, we'll be leaving jiu-jitsu. You like come over for the ice bath after we just train super hard. I'm just like, bro, I'm not trying to come over. You know, switch. I'm already got sweaty clothes on. Get out my sweaty clothes. Put my sweaty clothes back on to go home. Like,
right. Well, now it's about to be cold outside. I do have a. Did you see that black little trough thing that I have outside?
I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll let you have it if you want it.
For real?
Yeah, Chris Welch gave it to me. It's probably like 2 years ago. I still haven't even used it because I have the one inside.
Yeah, let me get that. I'll use it.
But yeah, I think it might have one little crack at the bottom. You just need to seal it up with some stuff. But yeah, that'd be a good addition for your recovery for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Just like you say, even for the mental toughness, like I love how you feel mentally after getting out of an ice bath.
Dude, yeah, you feel like a straight beast. Like
you feel like you can withstand anything. You're like, oh, if you can sit in the ice for 5 minutes, that fight ain't gonna be nothing.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, to an extent, but yeah, like, and that's, you know, that's a getting in the ice baths is a form of meditation in itself, because you have to train yourself to focus
on your breath,
and not focus on how cold it is.
Focus on staying
calm. You're blocking out that negative thought.
Right. Because your body's wanting to freak out. You know, it's trying to activate your adrenaline.
Yeah.
You know, to stay alive.
That fight or flight,
so by doing that, you can regulate your adrenaline. And so like leading up to your fight night, you won't have that adrenaline dump when you get in the cage, because you're staying calm as your body's wanting to like freak out, like, oh shit, we're about to fight. Like, you know, we're fighting for our lives. So yeah, I feel like it definitely, man, helps 100%. Just staying calm. And now I got that sauna, so that's gonna be a good. I'm ready to start doing cold now. I got that sauna, but man, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm also thinking like, how the fuck am I gonna?
Yeah, it sucks going from
dude.
Like, especially like if you jump in the ice bath fresh after a workout and your body's still warm,
that feels good.
Well, but I feel like it's also like more of a shock, because you're going from a high body temperature to a real low body temperature fast. You know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, I think for me, how I feel is if I do it right after a workout, it actually is more like like it
cooling you down.
Like it cools me down. But like if I wake up in the morning and I'm cold and I try to get in there, it's more of like this ain't cool. But coming out of the sauna back, I don't know. That's why I'm wondering like how it's actually gonna feel, because I feel like it's gonna suck.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see. My little steam machine should be in today, so yeah, I'm ready to try that out. I think it's gonna be badass.
So where you shoot steam into there? Is that what it does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I never even knew they had them that size, because you know when fighters are cutting weight, they got the one where their neck's out, and then they got one that's even got like a little hood on it.
Yeah.
And then I seen they have one that's like it's like a little full body one. I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should buy that. So when I travel and cut weight, I'll have a sauna.
You gotta sit in the car again.
Right. Or I mean, that's cool too, but What if it's not hot? What if it's wintertime? What if,
That's that old school stuff.
for real?
I don't know who else seen that, but yeah, when we fought in Kansas, our last fight, we drove down there and it was like when it was like 100 degrees every day, and so we just cut weight in the car like we used to when we first started fighting, or that's how I used to cut weight back in the days. I didn't know there wasn't really saunas and stuff everywhere like there are now, and
We weren't even hip to saunas back then.
we just put trash bags on to help you sweat more. Jump in that car, jump out the car, use your ID to scrape off all the sweat, and that's how I used to do it. So when we got to Kansas, we was on the way to Kansas. I was like, man, we gotta find a sauna, and I was like, you know what? Like it's hot as shit right now. I'm not about to stress trying to find out where a sauna is, this, have to travel there. We just sit in the car outside the hotel.
We cut weight for like what, an hour?
Bro, an hour and we was good.
Yeah, I got to cut probably about 8 or 9 pounds this next fight. It's just like the last one, which is pretty easy actually.
Yeah, I only got about like 15.
So
I walk around about 85.
Why do some guys cut weight the night before they go to bed?
Well, those are the guys I think that are cutting a lot of weight.
Like 15 pounds.
They're cutting to try to get down. Like, yeah, they're like still probably 20 pounds over, I think. And they're trying to get down to like 10 or something, and then wake up with only like 8. You know what I mean? Those guys, I'm not sure. I don't know for a fact, but they have to be doing something. Like, I didn't most of the time I thought I was a big 170, and then when I fought Tommy Bill, when we were at weigh-ins, we was, we're about the same size, but that next day he blew up.
Yeah,
like he blew up. Like he was a lot bigger than I was in that cage.
So that reminds me when I fought Derek.
Yeah.
I was bigger than him at weigh-ins. I swear I looked bigger than him because I didn't cut no weight. I was walking around at 155.
I think maybe I need to get with a nutritionist or something maybe because like most people that at my weight, like I'm walking around between 80 and 85.
They fight at 155.
Most people at my weight fight at 55. But I like my small cut though. But because I don't have to deal with all that. But maybe there's a way. Like I don't know. I also feel like I don't usually put that much back on. Like even if I cut 15, sometimes which I'm a lot better at it now. But like before, like it was hard for me to get back put more than 10 pounds back on. Like I wouldn't get up. Like you see fighters. Like they said, Alex Pereira, his last fight, when he weighed in at 85, and they said he was like 220 on fight night.
That dude's huge.
Yeah. Like, how did he cut that much weight and gain it all back? And that's what I'm trying to figure out.
So you know who George Lockhart is?
Yeah.
He's got his own course now, and he's got like hundreds of people that have taken this course. So maybe that's something you should look into. I was thinking about looking into it also because
I'm good at cutting the weight and getting down. Like I know I could make 55 if I tried. Like just because
But you're probably not doing the most efficient way.
Well, getting down I don't think is a problem. I need to know the proper way to rehydrate. Like put that back on because how can I cut 15 pounds and then I only get 10 of it back? Like
it's what you're not eating properly afterwards.
Right. And I got follow something. I've looked up George Lockhart stuff and kind of what you still what you need to drink. You don't need to immediately start eating, you need to slowly. If you drink it too fast, then you're just gonna
piss it right out.
Yeah, you're gonna piss it right out. You have to drink it at a certain rate to
you can only take in your body can only absorb 16 ounces of water every hour.
So, I don't remember the exact number right now, but it's something like that.
Yeah,
maybe a liter. I can't remember.
That's what I heard. It was 16 ounces an hour or something. But yeah. So for me, man, imagine if I could make 135.
Yeah, and you can.
Right. Exactly.
We
just don't know how.
We just need somebody to show us how to do it.
I'd probably kill myself trying that shit. Without the proper.
Literally everybody at 55 is my weight.
Everybody at 135 is my weight.
Yeah.
Like 145ers usually are walking around at like
But at the same
160,
time, man,
170.
I think it's a benefit to me. Like I said, my
Right.
opponent, I know he cuts a lot of weight. My next opponent, I know he cuts a lot of weight. I know for a fact. So if I'm not cutting as much weight, and this fight comes down to war nutrition and cardio, I think I'll be able to push the pace on him, and it's another way I can beat him.
Right.
There's just so many ways I can beat him, and that's one. I think that's one of them is pushing the pace on him.
Yeah. Also, they say when you cut weight, the more you cut, the more easy it is to get knocked out.
Yeah, and because I also seen something like you see these guys cutting like 20, 30 pounds, like crazy numbers. But I've also seen like it's for a fact that it messes with your performance. Like you're gonna gas out faster. Like
Right.
you're only supposed to cut like 12%, I think, 12 to 13% of your body weight. So like me, when I do the math, if you do, it's like 185. If I'm doing 185, or if I'm trying to make 170, I can't remember the math, but if I'm trying to make 170, the max weight I need to cut is like 12 to 13 pounds.
So that's
If I cut more than 12 to 13 pounds, then it messes with my performance. If you do,
so if
yeah.
I weigh 155, we're doing 12%.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's either 12 or it might be 7. I can't remember. But
12% of 185 is 22.2 pounds.
yeah, so do 7%. I know when I did the math when I was reading this.
7% of 185 is 12.95.
Yeah, so that's when you. So if you do 7% of your body weight, it'll tell you the max weight you should cut without messing with your performance.
Right. So 7% of 155 is it's 10.85 pounds. So I'm like cutting exactly what I should.
Yeah. So that's how I see it. Like that's what I think, and that's what I'm gonna go by. I don't like I said. I'm pretty sure I can make 55, but I don't think I'm ever gonna try it. Like I'm staying like. I'd rather have my cardio and I kind of do a little better against bigger guys. Like,
dude, it should be. It's so dumb. They got 125, 135, 145, 155. All right, we're gonna jump up to 170. Like, why not do 155, 165,
yeah, because 165 would be probably perfect for me.
Right, and then you'd have 175 too.
Yeah, and I'll definitely do 65.
That is what sucks about being around your size, because that huge gap.
It's 15 pounds both ways.
Exactly.
Either I got to go up to 85 or
it's so weird how they did it like that.
Yeah.
Hey, well, maybe one day we'll make our own fight promotion and we'll do it like that.
But doesn't it come like? Isn't it like I think it's probably up to the state too, though. Whatever state it is.
Think about catch weight
Yeah.
and boxing. Like they have so many different weight classes. So, it's. I think what it really comes down to is your opponents weighing the same.
Right.
Which even still, we see opponents get in there and one misses weight and they don't weigh the same. So, But yeah, I think I'd love to have my own fight promotion one day when I'm like done fighting. I think that'd be pretty sick.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's what I love this game. Like I want to do this for the rest of my life. Like I want to finish my fight career, have a great career, and then I want to coach and have promotions, all that stuff. Like I want to stay. Like I love everything about this.
Right.
Like if this is a way that I can feed my family and get the things I want in life, then I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna fight until I can't. Like I feel like I'm gonna be a fighter that fights. I'm gonna be one of them fighters that fights till he's like 40. Like I just love it. Like
I'm trying to wrap it up by the time I'm like 35, honestly.
Yeah, everybody has a different thought process. I just think like I kind of like who had the longest career. My career was longer. Like my career was longer than yours. Kind of like Nate Diaz. He's like, look how long he was in the UFC.
Right.
Like
And he's still talking as if he's got like many years to come fighting.
Yeah, and that's the mindset I'm trying to have. Like, you know, when it's war, like kill or be killed.
It's kill or be killed.
Kill or be killed. That's how you have to think about it going in there. You can't go in there to a fight thinking, all right, I'm gonna beat this guy. Like, you gotta go in there and think like I'm about to hurt this guy.
You gotta have killer intent
Yeah,
behind your strikes, behind your
you have
movement.
to
Like,
because I've just come in there like trying to pitter patter with people, like just trying to touch them. Like, yeah, you gotta touch them to set stuff up,
right,
but
starting
then
it off.
there was point like you gotta let the power go at some point. Like you gotta try to hurt them.
Right, especially these guys with these insane chins. Like, you're gonna have to put everything behind it to sit them down.
Yeah, I feel like my next opponent. He's a perfect guy to because he's not a horrible striker. Like so, uh, I feel like it's a perfect opportunity to try to show my striking and how it's improved. I'm sure saying this, he's probably gonna try to take me down or something, but we'll see.
Nah, he probably ain't gonna watch this.
Oh, I'm sure he already I followed him on Instagram because I noticed he was I noticed he was watching all my stories even though we didn't follow each other. So I noticed he was watching all my stories. So I'm like, oh, he's trying to get the scoop. All right, I'll show you what you want to see.
Right. Well, like, comment, and subscribe, dude. So what? Like, what type of goals do you have as far? Are you just focused on your next fight, or do you have like goals for the next couple years? Where would you like to see yourself in like the next 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, I definitely have long term goals, but I also um trying to focus on my next fight. Just focus on my next fight for sure. Um, I've definitely looked past fights before, and I'm not trying to do that. Uh, but as far as long term goes, I want to. You said 2 3 years. Next two to
Or
three years.
whatever. Everyone's got their own. Some people
Yeah.
do a 5 year plan. Stuff like that.
Well, yeah. I got probably a plan for 2 3 years and five and 10, but the next 2 3 years I want to be in a successful promotion and be in the top 5 10 battling trying to get the title in one of these big promotions, whether it be the UFC, Bellator. I really think it would be cool to go to one, but at the same time I heard it's real weird over there in Singapore and like they'll arrest you for smoking and stuff like that. So I don't know if I'm trying to go over there.
Right.
But I just like one's promotion though. But I'm trying to make the most money, honestly.
Amen.
So that's what it's about for me. I want to do what I love and be able to do what I love and provide for my family. Right now I work full time as a welder, and I'm not trying to keep doing that.
Right.
I do what I have to do to take care of my family, feed my children. And I'm a pretty good welder, even like so. I could, just keep doing that and make a lot of money. I could travel around the United States welding and make a lot of money, but I don't want to do that. Like that's not. I want to fight. Like I want to make my money that way. I want to be able to, you know, plan my day how I want to. Like I want to be able to just plan out my training schedule.
You
I don't
want
want to have
training to be your only true obligation.
Yeah, I don't want to have to plan my training schedule around work, like
Right.
because after you give all your energy to your job, you don't have as much energy to give to your training. Like you only have so much energy in a day, and like me, I work 10 hour shifts,
Man.
so it's hard to. I go to work early, so I would try to tell myself, get up early before work and go on a run. But then that just becomes a problem because I'm never getting any sleep.
Exactly.
So like, I go to work at 6. I get off at 4:30, Monday through Thursday. So it does help me being off 3 days on the weekend. I get a lot more training in on those days. But Monday through Thursday, it's just training after work. After those 10-hour shifts, under my hood all day, welding in the heat. So uh, I do want to get to that point to where I don't have to do that anymore. I just want to be able to train, and I do believe when I'm able to do that, like you're gonna see me at a whole new level. Um, I'm already, I'm getting better every week. Like everybody, all my training partners, everybody will tell you that. Like I learn really fast. I picked up jujitsu really fast. Like I pick up things really fast. If you show it to me and I do it, now I know how to do it. Like so, I'm just gonna keep getting better at a really fast pace, I believe. And when it comes to that point to when I can make enough money to quit my job, um, I'm gonna be ready.
Do you see yourself like? What do you think about um getting into maybe like the UFC? You think you'd like to do something like the Dana White the Tuesday Night Contender Series, or like just have Dana call and like go straight to UFC?
No, I do contender series. I'll do any of that. My
What about
only,
the Ultimate Fighter? That'd be sick.
yeah, that's it's that would suck to have to be in there, but at the same time,
Yeah.
those fighters get the most exposure. People who come out of the Ultimate Fighter have a lot of fans,
Right.
because you were able to see into their life and learn a lot more about them. So you remember those fighters a lot more.
Right.
You remember fighters off the Ultimate Fighter. Whereas if you just see them fight one time on the Contender Series, if they have a really crazy knockout or something, you're gonna remember them. But other than that, it's hard to remember those people because you don't get a whole deep dive into their story and see the type of person they are like you do on the Ultimate Fighter. But honestly, like yeah, I know the UFC is the tier one organization. It's the best
Yeah.
organization, but like I said, it's about money for me. Um, if I
Prize
can,
fighter.
if I'm gonna make more money in Bellator, I'd rather do that. Like
Right.
I'm still gonna be a champion, and maybe maybe I'll go to Bellator first, and then come later like Michael Chandler did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like come
Dude,
to champion of Bellator,
Michael Chandler's sick.
and then when you come to UFC, you are gonna get paid. Like Michael Chandler came over getting paid a lot more than a lot of fighters because he built up his reputation outside the UFC.
Came in and knocked out freaking Dan Hooker. Like,
yeah, exactly,
man.
and then that too. But a lot of people were upset because he came in making a lot more money than a lot of people.
That's
Right, it's because if you build up a reputation, if you build up a reputation as a champion of another organization,
it's all about who's selling.
when you come
No,
in,
nobody.
you're already looked at as a champion in a way. When you come into the UFC, if you was already a champion of another organization,
Because he was just
Exactly.
like Conor McGregor. He was the Cage Warriors champion
exactly.
in two different divisions.
And that's what
before
you
he
got to
came
do.
to
You have
UFC.
to build up your reputation. You have to build up your image. You have to win them local titles and then go a little bit farther out. You know what I mean? You have to build up those titles. That's what they want to see. Like that, they want to see you not just win titles. They want to see you finish people. Like, and that's why, like I said again, my mindset's changed. Like I'm going into these fights to hurt my opponent, and I know all I gotta do is touch them. I'm gonna hurt them.
So who's cornering you this fight?
D-Ray, my striking coach, and then John, my jiu-jitsu coach. Yep.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm ready. I'm gonna have my corners. Like,
Don't you get 3 corners as a pro?
It depends on it depends on the organization. So they only allow 2. Yeah, they only allow 2. So yeah, it'd be D-Ray and John. Which last time I fought for them, it was it was a scramble. I know I've talked about this before, but it's actually why I switched camps and everything because my coach just didn't show up to my fight, and no excuses. I still went in there. Like I could have not went. I could have just said nope, I'm not fighting or something. I still went in there and I lost. So I learned from it, and I'm fighting another guy out of the Glory camp, and I'm gonna show my improvements, and I'm gonna show that they didn't see the real Keyth the Sleeper Dawson last time, and this time they will see him.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be sick. We both got two two big fights coming up. You know what I love about fighting is it's like every fight you have is like the biggest fight. You know what I'm saying? It's all about
At least in
what's
your mind.
next.
At
I
least in
mean,
your own mind.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
you ever think about like this fight's so big, but look, you know how many people even know about it? Not that many.
Nobody,
And like, the old lady,
nobody.
your old lady next door neighbor probably won't even know you're a fighter. Like, they got their own stuff going on. They're just worried about paying their bills and going to the
Right.
grocery store and taking their kids to football practice, and ain't nobody worried about your fight. This is like what we want to do for ourselves.
Right.
I know we're trying to provide for our family, but you gotta think about it like that. You gotta remember that, yeah, it means a lot to us, but at the same time, it's a speck of dust on this planet. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
For real.
Like, it really does. Whether you win or lose, it really does. I mean, yeah, to provide for your family and make more money, you need to win. But in the bigger picture, it really don't mean anything.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Especially when you think of just like not just what's happening in the world right now, but it like in the whole like history of the planet. Like
Right.
this is one
And
little
you think somebody
like,
cares about
speck of
your
dust.
third pro fight?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, people barely care about the UFC fights.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so you just
Life
gotta,
goes on.
you just
Win,
gotta,
lose, or
and
draw.
you
It's
just gotta
like,
remember that. You just gotta remember, and that's, um, like, when we were younger, I wasn't the best person, and so I just growing as a man and everything, and learning things like that. Like, that does, you know, yeah, the fight matters to me, but the more important thing is, you know, being a good father to my children and teaching them how to be men, and the bigger things in life, and making my wife happy, and you know just what life's about. Like, yes, this I have fun fighting, but it's not what life's about, you know. So
yeah.
I think about that a lot, because I'm a Christian, so I think about the bigger picture of things a lot, and uh, yeah, I just
Yeah, I have to tell myself that all the time because I get so consumed with being a fighter. I have to remind myself like this ain't all you are, you know. So make sure you're taking the time out of your day to, you know, spend time with your kids, work on other things in your life that have nothing to do with fighting, because it definitely can consume you. Because of
consume you
course you want
bad.
to win, you know,
Yeah.
you want to be the best fighter you can be.
Then if you let it consume you and then you lose, your
Oh
freaking
man,
whole life is ruined. In that moment, you feel like it.
yeah,
Like, oh man, I put all my cards on this, and it didn't go like I thought it was gonna go.
right,
Now I feel dumb and I look dumb. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, you think things like that, and then yeah, you just gotta remember, like, you just learn from it and keep moving forward.
right. It's just part of the journey. It's not about like
You can't dwell on losses, just like you can't dwell on winning either.
right,
Like, that's the deal. Like, when you win, you're gonna feel good for a week or two. When you lose, you're gonna feel bad for way longer than a week or two. Like, you're gonna remember that.
right,
Like, so, I if you can do the same, like after you win a fight, you feel like on top of the world, especially that first like few days to a week, and then even like the next week, maybe you still feeling like a little bit of that emotion, still feeling good.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm the
me, I
champion.
ride it for months.
But yeah, I think 1 to 2 weeks on each is like the most you need to do. Like, enjoy that win for 1 to 2 weeks, but then it's on to the next. You know, dwell on that loss for 1 to 2 weeks and think about the things you need to fix. But then you just need to keep moving forward. You can't. it's gonna hold you back if you keep thinking, man, why did I let him touch me with that right hand? Like, you just keep thinking it's about one little thing, and it's just, it's a split second in time, and who cares? Like,
Right.
it's over with. We're moving on to the future. We're trying to get better, like, and that's all you can do is just keep getting better and figuring it out, like elevating your life.
Yo, and in my future, I see a whole lot of dollar signs.
As long as you share.
Yeah, for real. Maybe one day I pay you to come on the podcast when I
Right.
start making some money from it.
Right.
So, you got any sponsors or anything you want to promote or shout out to, stuff like that?
For sure. Sponsors. Excuse me. Start off, Kwaku. I know a lot of y'all know Kwaku. Kwaku.
Be Chosen Academy.
Be Chosen. Man. Kwaku, he's helped change my life in a big way. I met him at Christian Boxing Academy. Something was calling me to, like, I heard about the Christian Boxing Academy, and I know they were teaching kids, for free, teaching them how to box. And I was like, oh, I know how to box. I'm a Christian.
Sounds like my kind of place.
I feel like I should go help. Like, I don't know who they have coaching in there. I didn't know at the time, but I was like, if I can benefit, then I want to. So I did that, for probably like 6 months here a couple years ago. I was going there every like Tuesday and Thursday and teaching the kids after school. Life kind of got in the way, and I'm not going there to do that. I think Caleb is coaching there now, Caleb Woodside.
Yeah.
So, I mean, excellent person to be teaching there. So
Yep,
the kids are getting like the kids are getting very well instruction from Caleb. Caleb's a very good striker.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I met when I was teaching there. Kwaku, he was going there too, and he was giving back to the community, helping the kids. So me and Kwaku, we became good friends by just our passion for wanting to help the kids, get better at boxing just for no other reason. And, we would take the kids on runs, and, we had these kids training hard. And then just through meeting Kwaku, he had told me, soon he was going to be opening up, Be Chosen, which was going to, help focus a lot on, like, around here we have gyms, but we haven't had, like, anybody that's like a great strength and conditioning coach for athletes, and
Right.
Kwaku, he can do it all. He's a good motivator, and he has the boxing program for a lot of women, self-defense moms, anyone, but he teaches those types of classes, and then he also trains athletes. He's trained people in the NFL, trains me, Ron Coleman, Caleb Woodside,
Cody
and-
Callison, I seen him in the other day.
Cody.
That dang blubber belly.
He's just elevating all of the athletes around here, and I love it. Like, since I started doing my strength and conditioning with him, I'm faster, I'm stronger, I'm in better shape, and that's all you can ask for.
Cody was like, he said something about eating he shouldn't have ate a cheeseburger or something before he went to something. I was like, yeah, not a smart idea.
Dude, because, hey, Kwaku gonna kill you, man. Like,
yeah.
he gonna have you, like,
Gonna be
he
throwing
gonna
up.
have you feeling like you in a fight. Like, and that's another place I get my mental reps, because every time I go and train under Kwaku, I want to quit the whole time.
Immediately.
But I don't show it. Like, I'm fighting through. Like, we finishing this workout. I don't care what you tell me to do right now. I'm finna do it.
Right.
And he's elevated my game a lot. Okay, and then we got Chad Morrison.
He's got landscaping.
Yeah, what's the name of his tree service? Is it just Morrison tree service? Can you look that up real quick? Sorry, Chad.
Uh,
I'm pretty sure it's just like Morrison landscaping and tree service.
yeah, I'm seeing pictures. Yeah, Morrison Landscaping and Tree
Okay,
Service.
yeah,
Yeah,
Morrison landscaping and tree service. Uh, man,
they're
Chad's
out of Perryville,
out of
Missouri.
Perryville, Missouri. Dude, Chad's a really good dude. He gives back to the community a lot. I've seen him help so many people. He's helped me. Uh, you
Yeah, he's
know,
also the
he
owner of
helped.
Perryville Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah, Perryville Jiu Jitsu. He helped me out, man. He got me a bunch of equipment. Like all my gear and stuff was like smelly and nasty. And I had made a post on Facebook, and I had two different people order me stuff immediately. Like Chad immediately, like before I knew it, and then I had two sets of gear coming to my house.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was like, so Josh Caputo, I know y'all know Josh Caputo, dude, another great guy. He bought me some gear, and then Chad Morrison got me some gear. At the same time, I made a post on Facebook and said, "Hey, I'm looking for sponsors. I really like. I don't even want money. Like, I just need some gear." And they both bought me gear immediately. So now I have two sets of gear, which helps out a lot.
Yeah.
So and then we got so I got Kwaku, um, Chad Morrison, and we got Black Velvet Tattoo, um, who just did my new chest piece. Great work, dude. Like,
Austin did that.
no, Austin didn't do it.
Oh.
Jason,
Okay.
the owner, Jason. So Austin works. That's who set me up with it. So they sponsor me here. Like, they've been sponsoring me for a few fights now, and uh, so I was like, man, I've seen his work. He's been doing it for quite a while. He used to have a shop like in Springfield, and then he moved it here, and then Austin, started with him and stuff. So we knew Austin from when we were kids.
Well, show them the chess piece. You know
Oh,
they want
yeah.
to see that.
Oh yeah, y'all need to go get this. Go check him out, man, because he's a great artist. And this was also a cover up, and it's not done yet, but it looks great. I still got one more session to finish the color.
Yeah, you can just stand where you're at. That's good. They can see it. No, over or yeah, either one. Yeah, yeah, that's nice. Is that a grizzly or a brown bear or Kodak? Yeah, brown. They got brown bears, grizzlies, and I think Kodak bears are like the biggest ones.
Bears.
Black bears.
Yeah, brown bears are grizzlies, right? Grizzlies are brown. The brown bear. You got grizzlies, then you got a black bear.
Oh, black bear.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Like
don't
black
know.
bears are like more like this area mountain, like in the U.S., like in the mountains.
Okay.
They're smaller. Then you go like up north on like Canada and stuff, and they got grizzlies. Up in Alaska and Canada, they got the giant grizzlies.
Yeah, I always wanted to get a chest tattoo.
So yeah. Anyway, Black Velvet Tattoo, man, they do great work in there. Go check them out. Let's see. I think. I feel like I have one more sponsor. I can't think of it right now.
What about Peak? Or you just train there?
Yeah, Peak Performance, War Eagle MMA. So I train my striking. And D-Ray, he's a blue belt and Muay Thai under Bang Muay Thai.
I didn't know Muay Thai had belts.
Yeah, well, it's just the Bang system. Dwayne
Okay.
Ludwig has belts in his system. So, yeah, he's a blue belt under Dwayne Ludwig. He goes up there. And then also, he's, I forget what degree, but he's been a black belt for many years in Taekwondo also. So
I think he's like fifth.
yeah,
Dan.
he's high level Taekwondo. So,
you know, you might see some little spinny stuff from me. I
I
don't
see a little
know.
spinning hook
You
kick,
might see
little
a
axe kick, little
spinny.
crescent kick.
Been working on that little spinny stuff. So
Spinnerooski.
you might see some of that.
Okay.
And like I said, so yeah, D-Ray, and then of course John Dudley, Carpet Momentum Jiu Jitsu, always sponsors me every fight. Even though I train there, he always helps me out. You know, I have a lot of supporters that are always just helping me out. Like if I need it, all I have to do is ask. I try to, you know, I don't want to ask for anything, but like, you know, when I have a fight coming up, if I need some supplements and stuff, you know, that's another thing. Josh Caputo, man, he doesn't ask. He didn't ask me. He doesn't ask for anything. He doesn't want me to even mention his name. I don't think, but I'm going to because he's just been helping me out, man. Like for nothing,
Right.
like just as a friend, dude. Like he was in Canada, ordered me some gear, and uh, look here, just like 2 weeks ago, he went bought me like $200 worth of supplements.
Nice.
Like, you know, and I need, you know, it's stuff like that, dude. Like, it makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because other people believe in me.
Right.
If other people believe in me enough to support me like that, then you know I need to. Why did I not believe in myself? Like, there was a little bit of time. Like, of course, I've always believed in myself to an extent, but not enough. Like, you have to believe in yourself like wholeheartedly because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will.
Right.
Like, and even if they don't believe in you, you can overcome their doubt with your belief. Like, your belief will always overcome doubt. So,
Yeah, there's nothing like, man, there's nothing like shutting down the doubters. Like,
oh, dude, the best feeling, man, when you go out of town and fight and they got the whole crowd is for them, and then you sit them down or choke them out or whatever, and then you just hear the whole crowd go silent.
Yep.
You can hear a pin drop. They don't know what to think. I love that feeling. I love fighting out of town more than I love fighting at home. Of course, I love, you know, putting on shows for my fans, my hometown fans. And I promise I'm going to try to get back here and fight soon. But, you know, I'm chasing my dreams. So, you know, big opportunities call. Can't pass up fight pass opportunities.
Yeah, it looks like I might be fighting in Cape November. William, what's his name? He wants to rematch against me. The last guy I fought here in Cape that I knocked out. Yeah, he wants to rematch, and so I told Johnny if they're willing to put up a belt, you know, then I'll give him a rematch so I could win another belt, you know. That'd be nice. So
I might have something in the you know, like I said, I'm focused on this fight, but you know, I always got people asking me about fights, so you know, y'all might, my hometown of Cape, you might get to see me the beginning of next year here in Cape. Having a little bit of talks about that, but like I told Johnny, let's hold off. I don't want to talk about it no more until after this fight. So, but y'all gonna love this fight if it goes through. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. You got anything you want to talk about?
I mean, not off the top of my head.
Big fights or big fight, I should say, tomorrow. Corey Sandhagen versus Sonya Dong.
Oh yeah.
Who you got?
Sandhagen.
Yeah, me
I like
too.
Sandhagen.
He's a beast, dude.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good.
That's like when I heard him on the podcast talk about you know, when he fought Sterling, and he just felt like, you know, he was in there, but he wasn't at that mental level to where he wanted to like hurt him, basically.
Right.
And that's another reason, you know, just listening to so many podcasts. I listen to a lot of books. Like, I weld 10 hours a day, and I'm learning that whole 10 hours because welding, you know, it's kind of like a mindless work. Like, it's mindless work. I can weld.
You just got to use your eyes.
Yeah, I can weld without thinking. You know, I know what I'm doing. So the whole 10 hours, I'm listening to a book. I'm listening to podcasts. I got my headphones in, and I'm just gaining knowledge every day.
Yeah. For me, I love listening to Conor McGregor when it to just work on my mindset. I mean, really, it's just in a way, it's kind of like listening to yourself, but through somebody else. You know, it's so crazy how like the words of someone else can really like affect you a lot of
Yeah.
times more than your own words.
Yeah, which is why we have to be good role models. Like, man, so I mean, speaking of role models, like, man, like when we were younger, we were not doing the best things. I kind of want to.
It
You
was
said
troublemakers.
you said I want to, so I want to talk a little bit about like kind of where I came from, I guess, and you know, looking back because I feel like talking about talking about your past um, helps bringing you an easier future because a lot of things that happened when you were younger or in your past, we just never talk about them, and then you like to tell yourself, "Oh, you're not holding anything in," but kind of deep down you are, like, and until you talk about things, you kind of when you talk about it, you almost talking to yourself and letting yourself know that things are okay too.
Right.
Um, and so kind of looking back, I want to talk about like just the kind of lifestyle I was living when I was younger, and like how I really believe that it was Jesus in my life, even though I wasn't pursuing him the whole time. But there's just been so many situations in my life that I should have died, or like I should have been in prison, or all these different things. And I think like why was I you know able to get through those situations when most people are not?
Right.
And there's nothing different. Like I didn't do anything different. Like I was doing bad things. I was breaking laws, you know. But for some reason, I never got caught doing anything, or like, the situations always turned out in my favor for some reason, and I never knew why. Like, but I used to always think like, why did I just get away with that? Like,
Right.
or like, like there's just been so many situations. Like I remember, like I had did this crime,
Just a
right?
crime.
I'm not gonna say what because I ain't trying to. I don't know if they can go back on those things.
I don't know who's watching
But
this
I had
podcast.
did this crime when I was younger. Okay, and I did it with a couple other people. I ain't gonna say no names. And basically, I stole something. Okay, and I sold it to one of the other guys I was with. Okay, well they ended up getting caught with it. Okay, and they told them, "Oh, they got it from me." Like so, in that case, they received stolen property from me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I get a call from a cop. I ain't gonna say the cop's name because I don't know if you remember, and I ain't trying to go back on all this. But I know the cop, and man, it's just crazy. Uh, they called me. He called me into the police station. I had to be like 16, maybe 17 at the most. I think I was like 16. And they called me into the police station, and he starts questioning me about this item that I stole and sold to this guy. Well, I was just about to admit it. I was literally just about to like, all right, you got like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. Like you got me. But the cop said, man, look, I'm just calling you in here because we got this guy with this phone. He's saying that, you sold it to him. Allegedly that you sold him this phone, and it's stolen. So in that case, you're in trouble for a felony. And I was like, man. So I didn't know what to say immediately. But before I said anything, he said, but look, I know this guy's lying. He said, I know this guy's lying. All I need you to do is tell, you know, say your statement that you did not sell him this phone, and then he'll just be the one in trouble for it. And so I just agreed.
Right.
That's one crazy situation.
Right.
Another crazy situation. Like, I'm just gonna tell you a couple situations, and then I just want to explain to you, like, the reason I feel like Jesus or God has, been there in my life, saving me, even though at times I wasn't even pursuing Him or like anything like that. And I believe the reasons is because we were in church when we were young. Our grandfather was a preacher. We were always in church, traveling around, watching our grandfather sing in church, and I was baptized and things as a kid.
In the name of Jesus.
Baptized as a kid. And just because you once you were baptized and you believed in Jesus at one time, and then say now I'm a teenager and I start straying away and I'm doing bad things, that don't mean that He ain't still there.
You're gonna look out for you.
That don't mean that your grandparents aren't like, just because you're not praying for yourself, you have grandparents that are praying for you. Your parents, like, they're still there. There's just no other explanation. It's just the way my life has been. Like, I should have been in prison or dead right now.
Me too.
Like, there's no other explanation of why me. Like, there's this one other time. I first want to say rest in peace, Andrew Baller. This is a story about my friend Andrew Baller that he died in a house fire. Actually, I don't know what started the fire. I don't know if they figured it out, but basically, from my understanding, it was him, his mother, and his two nephews in this house, and his mother got out, and I'm pretty sure he was originally out, but his nephews were in the house. So my understanding is he went back in the house to try to get his nephews out, and they didn't make it out. Okay. That right there, I already knew this guy had the biggest heart out of anybody I've ever known. Like, he did a lot of bad things in his life, but deep down, dude, he was the most caring and loving person I knew. And then also, as far as heart, he was the only guy I ever knew that was not scared of anybody. Like, this dude would get me into fights, and I'm like, what? Like, he'll pick a fight with these two giant dudes and then tell me I gotta have his back, and I'm like, dude, what? Like, what's going on? Like, why you pitting me in this?
He was something else.
He was something else, bro. You just be at the gas station, bro, and you thinking you just getting a soda, and you walk out the gas station, he's throwing his shirt off because he's seen somebody he had beef with 7 years ago.
He gonna throw his shirt off every time.
He gonna try to fight him, and that's where I got a lot of my mentality from. But like I said, he didn't, he wasn't the best guy in a lot of other ways. He was probably one of my bad influences, but he was my best friend at the time. So I was pretty much, out of my mom's house, 16, 17, doing my own thing. I was 17 at the time, and I was living with Andrew and his older sister and his brother. It was just this little apartment. And man, I was a pothead, so I smoked weed, and but that's all I did. I didn't dabble in drugs or anything like that back then, or nor did I even really know or to think what they were. I don't know if I just blocked it out or like I didn't know.
Just oblivious.
Just oblivious because, man, dude, I could be in prison because I was living with them. Okay. And I felt weird. Like I didn't know what was going on. Okay. But like they kept going into this room in the apartment and acting weird, blah blah. And then there's starting to be other weird people show up to the house, and I'm just like, what? Like it just felt weird. It felt like almost like a druggy house or something. I don't know. I didn't know that at the time, but I felt like what the hell
You
was
just knew
going
something
on?
weird was going on.
I just knew something weird was going on,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what until until I did. Okay, so apparently these dudes was in the bedroom cooking up meth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't know what was going on. Okay. I was just, I was kicked out of my mother's house. I'm living with my friend, you know. Well, these dudes was I knew they was acting weird and like doing something weird, but I was just staying out of them. Like, I'm just in there in the living room, smoking, staying, like, I don't know. I knew, like, don't be around them, but I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
Okay. Well, it was the sister's apartment. Well, she caught wind of what was going on, and she flipped out and was like, I'm calling the cops. So she calls the cops. So we're all in this house. They in the bedroom just finished cooking up some meth, and I didn't know. Like,
He's like, what's that? What's that smell?
girl, I was so oblivious. I don't know what I thought because. So the sister calls the cops, and we take off basically. I'm out of there, cause I knew like I don't know what's going on, but they called the cops, and then all these fucking everybody scat like it was weird. Like I was so oblivious. I just looked back. I'm like, how did I not know that what they was doing? Like,
Just don't.
yeah, I did not. Like I'd never seen it before. I didn't know what the fuck they was doing, and so basically, I get out of there. Like before the cops are there and all that stuff. Well, then a few weeks later, I was with another friend. I think we was just like, hitting a cruise, riding around smoking or something, and we got pulled over by a cop. And the cop starts talking to me. He's like, so you be hanging out with them Byler boys? I'm like, what? How you know that?
Shit.
Yeah, I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm going to tell you right now, son. Like, it's best you stay away from them Byler boys. Like, and right then, that's when I started kind of, straying myself away from him. Because I'm like, dude, that's not what I'm on. Like, I'm not trying to fucking, druggy and shit like, I was just so oblivious.
Right.
But that's like I said, the point of this is that's another situation. Why did I could have been arrested right there for just being an idiot.
We're just being around them.
Just being around people being an idiot. But God, like, that's another instance I feel like God saved me right there. Like, and just looking back at all these situations in my life, that's why, like, since I've, I kind of, like, we went down a bad path, we was doing a lot of, bad things, crimes, just stupid stuff as kids, teenagers. And then I remember we had that apartment on Sprig. You had that apartment on Sprig Street that we were staying at. And remember, we was doing some, and we thought somebody was gonna rob us or something, and so I took off. I'm like, dude, I had like an awakening one day. I don't know if you remembered it. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, someone was talking about they was gonna come by and shoot the place up, and this dude dips and leaves me there. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm gonna be the only one shot up.
Yeah, bro, it wasn't even just that. Like, I just had like an awakening, bro. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I woke up one day and I was like, who the fuck am I? Who am I? Like, this ain't me. Like, when I was a kid, I could never see myself being a gangster, like being a thug. like
A stick up boy.
like you know, like just completely the opposite person of who I actually am.
Whoa.
And I had an awakening. I woke up one day and I was like, dude, this ain't me. Like this is not me. Like I need to get back to my roots. And so, I called my father. Um so for people who don't know, uh my father figure in my life, his name is Anthony Underwood. Man, big inspiration to my life for sure. Um, I didn't know my biological father growing up, and this guy was always there for me, um, through everything. When I was 17, 18, and I woke up and had this awakening, all I had to do was call him, and he's like, "All right, come, hey, I got a couch over here. Come over here. We'll figure out. We'll get you a job. We'll get you a ride. We'll get you back on your feet." Helped me out. First time I was ever went to jail, came and bailed me out. Like this guy's always been there for me, and these people like my dad and my grandparents over there, like these are the main people who brought God and Jesus into my life. And I think if it wasn't for it being a kid and traveling, or like we traveled around with them, went to like our grandfather used to be like a traveling singer. They had a band, and we would travel around with them and go to all these different churches, and they would sing everywhere, and like we was always at churches, and I just feel like that played a big part of my life, even when I was not doing the things I was supposed to be doing. He was there to help me. And then since I've, got back with my wife, or since I met my wife and we got married, and for a long time, I thought I didn't believe in Jesus anymore. Like just the way my life was, like I was like, you can't be a God, you know. And it wasn't until me and my wife got married, and she asked me about believing in God, and I told her no. And you thought I would have just broke her heart right there. Um, and she wouldn't let it go. Like she's like, "What?" Like I've never heard anybody actually say that. Like she was like so like dumbfounded at what I just said, and she's like, "No, like we going to church." Like, and at first I was like, "Nah, ain't happening." And then it got to the point where I was like, "You know what? I can't. Like we got children, so I was like, it works both ways. If you're a Christian and you have kids and you're forcing your kids to go to church and doing all this stuff, then you're kind of putting that mindset on them." Okay? So my thought process was, even though I don't believe in Jesus, why should I automatically put that thought process onto my kids?
Let them choose if they want to go to church or not.
Exactly. And that's what I told myself. So in that instance, I said, you know what? I'm going to try it out. We're going to take the kids, and I'm going to force myself to go, even though I don't want to give my children a chance to believe what they want. And so I started doing that. But in that process, I found Jesus again. Like forcing myself to go for my children just to give them a chance. Like that's how I found Jesus again. And he just told me like I was always there. Like you just wasn't like you wasn't there. He was always there the whole time. Because I let him in a long time ago when I was a kid. But I just wasn't. You have to talk. You have to continually talk to him. If me and you don't conversate for a year, our relationship goes down. If you're not trying to talk to him, if you're not trying to, let him in on your life and help you make decisions, of course you're gonna make your own decisions, and do the wrong things. But if you having that conversation with him and have a relationship with God, um, to me, there's nothing better. Like if me and you are having a conversation and I've wronged you in the past, right? You may not fully forgive me for some things. Um, I know I've wronged a lot of people. That I'm sure that a lot of people don't forgive me for some things. And that sucks. To like you to truly be sorry to like for what you did to someone, and like you can't control their forgiveness because you know you hurt that person. But I know there's one person that I can talk to that's always gonna forgive me and that's always gonna be on my side no matter what I do. And that's Jesus. Like he's always no matter what mistake I make, and I'm still might feel bad about it, but I can talk to him and be like, man, I'm sorry. Like I know I shouldn't have done that, and just that in itself is almost telling yourself like you know you made a mistake, but you know like it tells you in the Bible, he's gonna like he forgives you every time. You just have to confess to him. Not everybody's like that. You hurt your wife, you hurt your wife's feelings, or you hurt her heart. She's deep down probably gonna still be hurt for the rest of her life. And you know that relationship dwindles a little bit because you know humans just make mistakes. But I know that I can always go back to Jesus and He's gonna forgive me. Like He's still gonna be my friend. I can't lose this friendship. He's gonna be there every time. All I gotta do is come back.
Hmm. Well put. See it. Yeah, it's crazy because we grew up in churches and then we stopped going as we became teenagers and you found your way back to church and I've tried going. I've went to church a few times in the last couple of years, but I just don't be feeling it.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know.
let me tell you what I think. If you ain't trained for 2 months and you go back, you ain't gonna be feeling it. Your timing gonna be off. You gonna be tired. You can't just go back once and be like, "All right, it's gonna be good now." No, you gotta put persistence in with them. You gotta show them that you gonna keep showing up. Like I'm going to church every Sunday. I'm doing an extra class on Sunday mornings. Like it helps, man. Like you have to
At the end of the day,
with everything it's repetition. You got to put in the time. Like if you can't expect you can't expect to have a great relationship. Like I just said a minute ago, if we don't talk for 2 months, our relationship is, but if we're talking every day, we have a really good relationship. You have to put that persistence in. You can't just talk to them sometimes and think like, everything's gonna be
I
good.
definitely have. Not going to church, but like constantly trying to have a relationship with God. And it's like I don't know. I feel like it's helpful, and I feel like it is helpful in my life mentally and emotionally. But at the end of the day, I don't have true faith in a God. I don't. I just don't have that true faith and belief in a God.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I still have doubts sometimes. I think you're still, just like with anything, you could be the best fighter in the world, you still gonna have a little bit of doubt sometimes. Like, I just block it out. Like, I don't know, same thing as fighting. Like, get that out of here. That's the devil telling you that. That's the devil in your ear. That's some demons in your ear saying, man, he lying. Like,
Do you think
that
that
stuff
fighting
ain't
is Do you think that fighting is like demonic or like it is dark? It's not of
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
not of God.
I definitely feel, because I always pray right before I step into the cage.
And
But
God be like,
but I used to pray.
don't do
Look,
it.
but I used to pray like, protect me. Like I used to pray like, please God, let me win. Like I really need this right now. Like I need to win.
But now you be like, God, please forgive me for what I'm about to do to him.
No. I'll be like, you know, I ask for protection for, but like I don't want to, like I want to win, and like I said, I know I'm going in there to hurt my opponent, but at the same time, I don't want to, like I don't want to hurt him and like ruin him for the rest of his life. So I'm just praying, like, I know what I'm doing right now is not, what you want, but at the same time, this is how I'm trying to provide for my family, and can you please just make sure that neither one of us are seriously injured? Like me or my opponent. I don't want to seriously injure my opponent. Now I want to hurt him to break his mind and his spirit. But I don't want to, like, I don't want his, I don't want to, I don't want him to be paralyzed or like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to seriously injure him, if that makes sense. Because we're just trying to make money for our families or ourselves in there. Like, this is, I know it's a fight, but at the same time, it's a sport. So, it's, yeah, I just pray that, nobody is seriously injured. Because I do, like you said it's like, it's definitely, I have to bring out my dark side when I go into that cage. But even though I pray right before, after I pray and I step in there, the dark side, you got to bring out the dark side.
But they said, but even God has warriors.
Yeah.
You believe in the what is it? The last 1,400. It's like God has like 1,400 or 14,000. It's one of the two soldiers that are going to fight for him against good and evil.
I believe it, and I believe that even like right now, I feel like maybe evil is like kind of starting to get the upper hand. But the Bible tells you, man, we gonna win in the end. Good's gonna win in the end. I don't know when exactly the end is, but I know if you're on the good side, that's the side you want to be on.
It's all about balance, because there can be no light without dark, and no dark without light.
Bro, you're gonna sin every day.
Every day.
Like just because I'm sitting here telling you, I'm a Christian and like you should believe in or whatever. Like I'm still not perfect. Like I still make mistakes all the time. But like I said, I know if I mess up, he's gonna forgive me because he already knows that we're gonna make mistakes. Like, but if I if I do something that pisses you off, it might be a little bit before you forgive me. But as soon as I go to him and I'm like, man, shouldn't have done that. I know that was stupid. I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? Yeah, no problem.
You know how they tell you in AA you have to have a higher power, right? Mm-hmm. And they used to always say it has to be a God or religion, but sometime a while back, this guy told me, he said it doesn't have to be God. It could be whatever saves you.
Yeah, it's a higher power.
Because I was like, because I told him I was struggling with my higher power. He said, well, it sounds to me that martial arts is your higher power. I was like, well, I thought it had to be a God. He said, no.
Yeah, I think honestly, when I learned about it, they said it didn't have to be a God.
They told me
at first. They told me like it don't have to be a God.
Because martial arts is what truly saved my life.
Oh yeah, for me.
Like if I had never really dedicated to fighting, I think I would honestly be gone by now.
Oh yeah, me too. Same, bro. Like I said, I had that awakening. I went over to we went over to live with our dad until we could get back on our feet and stuff, and then yeah, you gotta start somewhere. Like until you tell yourself. Like, you have to admit it to yourself first that you're doing wrong. That's what I woke up and I was like, dude, what am I doing? I ain't no thug. Like, I'm scared. I'm scared I'm about to get shot.
Thugs don't care about getting shot.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I don't want to get shot. Like, I want to live my life. Like, this is not me. I completely switched it up. Yeah. I went back to my country roots.
I remember he left the city, went back to the country.
Went back to the country, put the boots back on.
Boots back on.
Man, but I needed that. Like, I was going down the wrong path.
This dude was wearing tall tees, sagging.
I was going down the wrong path so fast. Like, it was so crazy. And then one day I just had an awakening. And you know why I think I had that awakening again? Why else? Because he was always there.
Mm.
Even when I wasn't, he was there.
Mm. Well, praise Jesus. Praise God.
Amen.
All right, let's take the time. I know you said you had to leave at 11.
Yeah, what time is it?
It's 10:54.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. All right, before we leave, let's do a little social media promotion. So you can, go follow Keyth on Instagram, Facebook. You got Twitter?
No, I don't got Twitter. On Instagram, it's the Sleeper MMA. On Facebook, it's just Keyth Dawson.
Let's pull up his Facebook real quick. So Keyth's got some T-shirts if you want to help support him.
Oh yeah, but I don't think they're gonna see it because they do today.
They're due.
Yeah, today. I gotta get that.
Oh, they're a pre-order only.
Yeah, pre-order only.
Well, just pull up his Facebook. Yeah, show his Facebook. Go follow him on Instagram and Facebook.
Hey, let me check my phone real quick because I want to make sure I didn't forget a sponsor.
Okay. Watch out for that cord. You have to duck under it. Hopefully it don't come in. So yeah, just be monitoring his Facebook. He had some shirts that were pre-order only, but he'll come out with some more eventually. And yeah, go support him. Go like some of his pictures, stuff like that. Maybe check out some of his sponsors.
Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting any sponsors because I felt like I was.
Okay.
I know what it was. I don't know if those guys were for sure gonna sponsor me yet, so
Okay.
so I'm not gonna shout them out.
Okay. Also, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. If you're watching this, please subscribe. I only got 100 something subscribers, trying to get up to that 1,000 mark. So help me get there, guys. Go to my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I got Twitter and Facebook as well. My website's going to be up soon, and once my website's up, you'll be able to buy some of my T-shirts on there. Right now, if you want to buy a T-shirt, just send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, and you have to PayPal me, then I'll mail it to you directly. They're all going to be signed. So, yeah, man, show some support. Keyth's a pro, at least he's making money on some of his fights, but guess what? I'm broke, all right? I ain't making no money. I'm still an amateur. So come on, man, send some donations or something. At least hit the subscribe button if you can. Thank you.
All right, just one more thing. So I told you a little bit about my story. There's a lot more. If anybody out there is struggling with, your faith, or addiction, I'm a drug addict as well. I'm in recovery. If anybody's struggling, you could message me, and I'm here to talk or help, because I know some of them times, especially struggling as a drug addict, and with your faith, sometimes you just need somebody to talk to that's living that life. So you can hit me up if you need somebody to talk to about those things.
Sweet. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching episode number 9, Powerful Fitness Podcast. Subscribe. Deuces.